Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome back to On Texas Football, and welcome back to the Winning Drive, the Prime Time Edition. I'm Lifetime Longhorn, Rod Babers. Pleased to be joined by another Lifetime Longhorn, my man C.J. Vogel, the young prodigy himself. Coach will be joining us a little bit later on in the program. We got a lot to get into on the show, of course. Whatever you guys want to talk about, throw it out there. We'll try to address as many questions, comments as we can. Super chats always jump to the front of the line. You can interrupt the show at any time. Still talking about the open practice from this past weekend. If you guys want to get into that, there is a big case brewing with the House settlement, and we'll talk about it and what it could mean for really the new landscape of college football. So we'll talk about that because apparently there's a potentially landmark decision on the horizon that will affect revenue sharing and NIL. And we'll talk about that. Of course, it's going to affect Texas. We can get into that. If you guys want to talk about anything in spring showcase or post-spring, what the Longhorn football team, what their goals and what they're trying to accomplish and objectives going to be post-spring, we can get into that too. But throw it out there. The show belongs to you guys. CJ, I know me and you haven't actually done anything together. I guess we did a little bit of our spring. You came on and did a cameo, I guess, when me and Jeff were doing our live stream on Saturday night, actually Saturday evening. But now that you've gotten a chance to soak it all in after the open practice for the Longhorns, is there anything now that you've realized now 48 hours after getting a chance to watch the Longhorns in open practice?
I'm gonna sound like a little bit of a Debbie Downer, but not really. They just didn't showcase a lot, and that was kind of the expectation coming out of it or coming into the practice was, hey, Sark doesn't want to reveal a lot. Sark doesn't want to put a lot of his star players in positions to be at risk of injury, and so what we saw was just basically the guys go through. I'd say about 40 practices of actual or 40 plays of thud, maybe some guys getting, balls or, taking guys to the ground, but it wasn't a lot out there. I think what you did see, one of the clear takeaways was Rasheem Biles is a guy that Texas is going to have everything on the table for when it comes to weaponizing him, right? We saw that at times blitzing with the quarterback on Saturday. I think Jermaine Bishop, with the way that he was used, obviously no Emmett Mosley, no Ryan Wingo, no Cam Coleman, all of these guys being sidelined led for some big opportunities for Jermaine Bishop. And we saw him utilize that at times as well, as did Dalen McCutcheon, who I think lost in the fray at times. But ultimately, look, front seven looked good. You had a ragtag offensive line, which I don't really put a lot of stock into. But ultimately, when the star players are on the field, this team is going to look significantly more talented and deeper than what we saw on Saturday.
Yep. Coach joining us now. Coach, what's going on, Coach? Good to have you here. How you feeling? What's going on? How's your weekend?
Yeah, good. I'm in my truck. I'm traveling to Lubbock. And anyway, just finally found a place I can pull over and join the show.
Well, Coach, I hope you're being safe. No doubt about that. But I'm glad you took the time to join us. No question about it. I know you didn't get a chance, obviously, to go to the open practice for the Longhorns, but you've probably been listening to it. What happens post-spring, though? I want to ask you as a coach, post-spring, what becomes the objective? What becomes the main priority of the team once you're done with them spring practices and you get into this, this summer sessions here before training camp? For a coach, for the team, what becomes your top priority at that time?
Yeah, well, I think it's obviously, kind of putting a final depth chart together. And, now you know what you have. And you probably, 9% or more of the starters you probably already knew. But you're looking at backups and 13 guys and guys that are going to maybe move up the ladder a little bit, get a little more in that closer to that circle of trust, as we always talk about. I think it's I think it's good. I like the way that it's smart to save your guys for the fall and not have any devastating injuries like who was it? A&M had was it a linebacker? I think carted off, and so anyway, I think it just going to help them solidify their depth chart going into next fall, and have obviously a good look at those freshmen and what they're capable of doing. And so I think it was, I think it was good. And I think the coaches have a lot to build on from this.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't know, because Coach, I'm going to ask you this, right? Because everybody knows you're going to be vanilla in the spring game. I wouldn't expect anything else. Matter of fact, I would be judgmental if my coaches start breaking out, stuff deep into the playbook in the spring game. No need for it. But I did notice on defense, and CJ brought it up as well, the aggressive, I call them ag indicators of aggression on defense. I thought a lot of them were on display. And I thought there were increased indicators of aggression on defense. I thought they blitzed way more than you usually see teams blitz, especially interior box blitzes from the linebacker, Rasheem Biles being a part of that. I thought they played a lot more bump and run than we are accustomed to seeing from a PK defense, a lot more man coverage than we're accustomed to seeing from a PK defense. I thought you saw a lot of sim pressures in the spring game, now looking back on it. So I'm asking you, Coach, is that just their way of being vanilla, or can I extract anything from overanalyzing and open practice from the Longhorns, those tendencies?
No, I think it's like looking through a peephole in the next season, and I'm glad to hear that. And I was glad to hear the reports about that, because, it's exactly what we expected from a Will Muschamp defense, and it's things that we've talked about, you especially as a defensive back at a high level, doing some of the things that we needed to be doing and that we weren't doing. And, and pressure is the name of the game. Don't ever let the quarterback be comfortable back there. And so if you have the talent on the back end, to put some pressure on receivers and give your inside 7 guys, maybe a blitzer, a chance to rattle the quarterback and get him, uncomfortable back there, then I think it's like I said, kind of look at the peephole into what we can see next fall at a much larger level.
Yeah, now I'm glad you said that, Coach. I'm with CJ. I recognized and saw those interior box blitz gaps for Rasheem Biles, and that's how they used him at Pitt. At Pitt, they were 12th in box blitz rate, blitzing their box linebackers. They led the country in 6-man pressure rate, and they were 4th in blitz rate overall. So they had him going down. He was on the attack a lot, going downhill. That's how Muschamp needs to use him. I'm glad to see that's going to be the case, or at least that's what we can extract from the spring showcase. All right, we got my man Stevie coming up. So before we get to Stevie, let's thank our sponsors, a couple of sponsors, and then we'll move on and dive into it. But before we do that, let's thank our friends over at Vaughn Lane, because they are our lead sponsor. We appreciate our friends at Vaughn Lane, and you will as well. They do a great job, folks. Our friends at Vaughn Lane, they offer a first-class travel experience on the ground. If you have traveled via plane in the last year or so, then you understand it can be a very stressful experience, whether you're talking about TSA or you're talking about the security lines or delayed flights. And if you're flying a shorter route or you're driving yourself in between, major Texas cities, I offer you a much better option, and that's Vaughn Lane, folks. It's a first-class ride. I've taken it myself several times. I've taken it to Houston, DFW. You board in minutes at a private hotel terminal. You settle into one of just 22 oversized leather seats. You enjoy complimentary Wi-Fi, snacks, beverages, hot towel service on every trip. On some departures, they even have complimentary meals. They've even upgraded the entire fleet with Starlink internet across the entire fleet, so now the Wi-Fi is faster and more reliable. I've actually done a lot of research on those trips on the Vaughn Lane. And it's great. My wife actually has taken the Vaughn Lane on girls trips with some of her friends. They serve Austin, Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, Fort Worth, Plano, the Woodlands as well, Atlanta, Memphis, Nashville, Knoxville. They keep adding more and more cities to the list. And if you're traveling with a team, you can charter your own Vaughn Lane, design the trip from pickup to drop off. Visit VaughnLane.com. That's VONLANE.com. And if it's your first time riding, you can enter the code OTF26 at checkout to receive $20 off your first trip with Vaughn Lane. That's Vaughn Lane, your private jet on wheels. And while we're thanking sponsors, let's also thank our friends over at Prize Picks. We're very excited about our partnership with Prize Picks. And they're also one of our sponsors on our live stream today. And I'm telling you, folks, if you're watching games and you're not doing it with Prize Picks, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're missing out. It's a lot more fun when you're picking with Prize Picks. So here it is. It's easy. It's really simple, and it's not very time consuming. Every play matters. Every moment matters. You're locked in the whole time, and you have a chance to actually pad your wallet a little bit along the way. So it's easy. It's how it goes. Basically going more or less on player stats. That's it. Points, yards, hits, assists, whatever you're watching. You can build your own lineup, and it takes minutes. For some of y'all, it might take seconds. And the best part is you can mix and match across different sports. You got a player that on your favorite team that's hot, or your favorite player is rolling. You can take that and pick that favorite player and match that, mix it with Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, golf, even esports if that's your thing. Right now, we're getting in on some of the baseball action. Going to take former Longhorn Bryce Elder to have more than 4 strikeouts versus the Braves. Elder has averaged nearly 6, I believe, over his last 5 games and averages 5 strikeouts per game against the Nationals. Also, we're going to take Bobby Witt Jr. to have more than a half a hit for the Royals today, as he seems to be getting his mojo back. So that's the fun of it. Mix and match it. Do it how you want to. And if you haven't tried it yet, now's the perfect time. Download the app. Use the code HMA. Play $5, and they're giving you $50 in lineups instantly. That's the code HMA. Play 5, get 50. One heck of a deal. And as always, play smart, play responsibly, play Prize Picks. Thank you very much to our friends at Prize Picks. All right, speaking of friends, let's bring on our friend, my good friend, and also a former teammate, lifetime Longhorn, Stevie Lee, joining us right now, courtesy of our good friends at Hardgrove Roofing. What's up, Stevie? How was your weekend, big dog? Happy 420. You celebrate? Uh-oh. See, 420. I must have look. I shouldn't he brought that. Oh, we have some technical difficulties with Stevie.
There we go.
Is he ready? Hey, yeah.
Maybe.
Stevie?
I don't know.
Oh, hell. Damn it. I think we got some technical difficulties with Stevie. I can't hear you. We can't hear him yet.
And we just lost Coach. It's like, what's going on?
Oh, damn. 420. See, I cursed the show. I brought up 420. Everybody lost it. No, but we'll bring Stevie back. Stevie's probably just having like a technical issue. So let us know, Matthew, when he gets it figured out. But yeah, happy 420, everybody out there. For those who celebrate, good for y'all. No doubt about that. All right, we'll get Stevie Lee back. I promise you. Because I would ask him, Stevie, actually, he didn't go to the spring showcase because he went to, and Coach, you probably know him as well, Shep Dog, one of our strength and conditioning coaches. Long time, actually, at Texas. He passed away, and they had his funeral over the weekend, too. So Stevie actually went to that. A lot of players actually went to it as well. So I want to ask Stevie about that. But we'll bring Stevie on. But first, CJ, I know you want to give the folks some recruiting nuggets that you thought were at least pertinent, that were important for the folks before we get Stevie back, and we'll bring Coach back too. But any recruiting nuggets you think the people out there should know about?
Yeah, definitely. Look, one of the biggest visitors on campus was Demarion Johnson out of Tyler Legacy, the big offensive lineman, committed to Texas A&M. It chose to attend the Longhorn spring game or spring practice rather than Texas A&M's spring game as well, the school in which he's committed. It's his second visit to the University of Texas in the last month. After the first visit, he came out and said, hey, look, I'm shut down. Recruitment shut down. I'm happy with my pledge to A&M. Then he shows up again in Austin to watch the Longhorns. He spent a lot of time with commits Keon Hemphill Woods as well as Jackson Cook. So, look, I'm not saying it's going to happen immediately, but Texas certainly in a good position for a flip of Demarion Johnson whenever it comes down to his commitment or recruitment moving forward. On top of that, Marcus Facaltau out of Sierra Canyon, big time, 6'6", 6'7", defensive end, told our Hank South and Jerry Hamilton after the spring game, he's looking at Texas like a top 3 school in his recruitment. He said coming in, Texas was top 8, coming out, Texas in that top 3. Texas made a big move. Of course, going out west for Kasai Curry is certainly on the docket for the Longhorns as well. But you start looking around at where else Texas started to make moves. Of course, Jason Johnson, the defensive lineman out of Atascocita, George Toya, the defensive lineman out of Trophy Club Byron Nelson, both on campus. They both have official visits for the spring. Joakim Gouda getting back on campus. Again, one of the top linebackers nationally out of Georgia. But Rod, we need to talk a little bit about it. Texas earned its 9th commitment in the class of 2027. That's Derwin Fields out of Brookhaven, Mississippi, 6'2.5", 6'3" edge rusher. Came a bit out of nowhere, but hey, that's just kind of how this staff works, right? They like their prospects, especially on the defensive end out of Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
We've known that to be the case. And
yeah,
I believe this was one that Will Muschamp came over to Texas thinking, hey, I've seen this guy. He's been around in my area for a little bit. When I get here, we're going to make him a priority, and they've done exactly that.
Yeah. No, out of Mississippi, too. Texas hasn't had a lot of guys out of Mississippi. Period. Yeah. Many players, period, out of the state of Mississippi, which, by the way, if you go look at per capita states that produce a lot of NFL talent, Mississippi is always like in the top 10. And sometimes even creeping higher than that. So it is a state that has a lot of talent. If you look at it compared to its population, Texas hadn't really, been a player in Mississippi. But interesting now, getting some players out of Mississippi, the SEC country. Period. What you're talking about. That's SEC country in a nutshell. All right, got Coach back here. Glad Coach is back. We won't keep you too long, Coach. I think you're on the side of the road, and I don't want to make sure.
Yeah, I am, but that's okay.
Yeah, we can't have Coach in danger, man. Not for the show. So we go keep it short and sweet. Ain't no doubt about that. And when Stevie comes back, if he does, just bring him on. We got a question here from all right. Says Rod, is it true? The position group who enjoys today's holiday the most is the DVs. That's good. I see. Okay. Well, I'll just say this about 420 and Texas. I see some of y'all out there. Who's that said I think it's Rocky Ford. I celebrated at the spring game. Yeah, I smelled some of y'all celebrating at the spring game, by the way. I was like, oh, somebody's out. Yeah, exactly. Strangely enough, the University of Texas has a history. Like when I went to the combine, one of my questions was about smoking marijuana because Texas has a reputation. I'll just say that. That's all I'll say. Because Texas, that was one of my questions at the combine was about that because University of Texas, because of a recent history at that time, I went to the combine with 03, and we had just had multiple. Ricky Riggs was still doing his thing, all right, and then we had multiple incidents. I won't even get into who it is, but not one of my early years here, we had multiple players who were suspended for a bowl game because they celebrated when it wasn't the right time to celebrate. So yeah, I don't know about position groups. Hell, honestly, I think running back probably would. But I ain't gonna call out no position group, but just because of Ricky alone, because of Sticky Icky Ricky, running back probably gets the most judgment when it comes to that. But University of Texas has a rich history when it comes to that, and it's known. I would just say that it's known.
Well, the events throughout the city and Austin, I mean, it doesn't help. Reggae Fest was this weekend, right? We're walking on it. Eeyore's birthday for folks that are familiar with Austin. I mean,
God, I missed that. God,
you missed it.
Gotta get down here next year, Coach.
Yeah, I like to get my my little toboggan with my dreads coming out. With the dreads sewn into the toboggan, making an appearance next year.
Oh man, yeah, I've been to the Reggae Fest, the Bob Marley Festival, as they used to call it back then. It is amazing to see cops that close to people who are partaking. You just aren't used to seeing that. But God bless the cops. They actually at that time they only worried about people who are, I mean, if you are partaking, that's not the crime that they are regulating at the time. They don't care anything about it. It's crazy. But I will say this: the Ricky Williams thing is interesting because I don't know if you guys have heard like the story. He said like Ricky claims that he wasn't even a big marijuana smoker and smoked a lot of marijuana until he was at Texas. And he claims that, and I don't know if y'all seen the story. He claims that it was a certain traumatic event that really got him into smoking a lot of weed. I'll just say that I won't get into it because I don't know how he's talked about this on podcasts, so I believe it's out there in common knowledge that he was depressed about his relationship with a young lady because one of his teammates was getting it on with his woman. I'm throwing it's already out there. So I'm not revealing stuff that ain't out there. It's already out there. Okay. I'm not revealing that. He said that's from Ricky's own lips that he claimed that was one of the traumatic events that got him down the rabbit hole of the Green Goblin. So, anyway, but he's known for it, but it ain't just a Ricky thing. It has been kind of a Texas thing. I think it's an Austin thing more than anything. I think it's more of an Austin thing. Austin's also known for being a city that celebrates, the 420. Look at Cole. Beautiful.
Yeah, baby. That's me next year. I'm on to dye my goatee.
Oh, that's awesome.
Maybe I can get my wife's like eyelash liner and make it dark. I like it. Good job.
Oh, I don't know how Matthew does this stuff so quickly.
I don't know how he does.
Is he using AI back there or something? I gotta think AI. He's using AI something because Matthew's doing his stuff. Coach mentioned it like 2 minutes ago. He already.
Let me tell you the funnest thing we did this weekend. I took all.
Oh no!
Kids took all my grandkids and I took their I had their pictures and I asked ChatGPT to show me what they'll look like when they're 18 years old. Boom, blows your mind. You gotta do it, Rod.
Did they look like you basically? Like you have kids that they grandkids? How do they look? I want to know now.
I lost you. I can't hear you. I'm about to come back on.
Oh no. Okay. All right. I'm curious. I'm curious about how the kids look. Coach got me curious. Okay.
I know it.
All right. We'll get back to it.
Well, let's give Stevie a shot here, Rod.
Stevie's coming on. Let's do it. Stevie, what's up, brother? How are you?
I'm good, man. How are y'all? Sorry about the technical difficulties, man.
Nah, man. It's 420. So
it's 420.
Exactly, man. Stuff like that's gonna happen. It's all good. How was your weekend?
It was good, but I heard you ask, was I partaking in 420? And I'm gonna say no this year. Right?
This year? Okay, this year. All right.
I'm gonna say no this year. I'm a cleanse a little bit right now. Although I talked to some of my teammates and a lot of our teammates are in the cannabis business right now. So
both skis actually,
and then Dede Lewis as well. So I talked to him. He has a farm up in Oklahoma, man. He's doing very well.
I didn't know Dede was in. I know Skis has got a farm, all pro. Shout out to both skates up in Colorado. I did not know Dede Lewis was in it too.
Yeah, man. He talked to me. Well, unfortunately, we got together at the funeral and he talked about what he was doing, and that was one of the things he has going on, man. He has a whole farm up there.
Wow, that's fantastic, actually.
He said it's behind enemy territory, but that's the only place that they can do it.
Yeah, it's right, because they got different laws about the legalization of marijuana, recreational marijuana, that kind of thing.
Well, happy 420 to everybody out there, though, man.
I didn't know that. CB says KD is a big weed smoker. Yeah, there you go. I mean, I'll just say this, because now when Ricky was talking about how he loved smoking marijuana back in the day, obviously it was frowned upon. Now it's more mainstream, and there's now more focus on the medicinal element of it and how it can replace some of the more damaging pain relievers and pain medications like that. So now there is a more educated view of it. Shout out to Ricky, even though they do it. Does he still have the Heisman marijuana? Shout out,
I believe so.
CB, he had his own like marijuana brand, the Heisman. But shout out to Ricky because he was one of the pioneers of trying to break through the ignorance about marijuana. I will say that. And we were everybody was a bit ignorant about it. And now I think we're more educated about it. And now you got guys who making millions off of it. It's one of the fastest growing industries in America. You'd be a fool not to get in on it if you can. All right, Stevie. Let me ask you this. How was the service actually? Because you went to Shep's service, correct?
Yeah, I did. It was good to reflect on the impact that he had on so many young men's lives. And we're old now, Rod. You and I are old. You're a little bit older than me, but from our age group and some older than us to the younger age group right now, how many people that he actually impacted. So, man, that's all you want to do in this world is just impact young men to become bigger and better young men, you know? So he did that, man. So it was really cool to see him see the reflection on that and all the kind words about him and people stepping up to his sons.
Yeah.
That we can still be a help to them while you know they're going to be grieving for a while, but we're here for them. So it was good to see all that.
It is. It's wild that now part of the family. We've been a family for so long now. We're starting to go to funerals.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like we were young guys in the family, but now that's just a reality of it, which is why you got to communicate. It's more important than ever. Reach out and communicate when you can. All right. But while we got you, I want to ask you. I know you've been busy. Have you heard anything about that? Have you heard anything you like from the spring open practice?
Everything that I heard is what I kind of already saw, and it just confirmed for me. There was what did this Smoke ran back a kickoff?
No, I think it was Raleigh. Right, Raleigh Brown.
Who was it?
Raleigh Brown.
Okay, well, that right there, it made me feel good to run it back, but also made me feel bad that they got ran back on. So we got to figure that out. So, but coach, special teams coach, he always got everybody. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
He always got everybody in the right position. So I did hear that we ran one back, but who do we run it back against? So
yeah.
So probably scout team.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping, but I don't know. So we'll see. But it's everything that I saw or went out to practice and saw and things like that was good. But one thing I would like to commend and thank the current staff for is we had the our football alumni rod weekend as well. So
yeah, nice.
We were over at they rented out the third level at Top Golf for all of us, and we got up there. But Sark came and did basically a state of the program address to us.
Love it
over there. So made us feel comfortable that we are welcome at practice. Made us feel comfortable that we can ask questions and things like that, and also made me feel comfortable that they're taking dead. Well, one of Coach Brown's sayings was take dead aim that one a year, and so they're taking dead aim right now. And then Coach Brown and Sally was there too for our alumni get together. So
nice.
I can see a lot of the old players from the 74 team all the way down to these kids that just got done.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a good evening over at Top Golf. They usually rent out a whole golf course for us, but we got to pay NIL money, so we only got.
It's got to come from somewhere, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and we usually get nice barbecue and everything. Man, we got chicken nuggets that we have to roll. We had to put the sauce on top of our own chicken nuggets, man. I was like, man, budget's getting tight around here.
That is man. You gotta make sure the NIL's got the funds, baby.
Yeah, man. They got the funds because it was a cash bar. It wasn't even an open bar, bro. Come on now. Texas football. Let's go.
I know it. That's the worst part.
But I talked to Ricky Brown about that, man.
Yeah, he did a great job of putting everything together, man. He was kind of like on the mic introducing everybody.
Yeah,
Ricky Brown's doing a really good job over at the foundation, man. So shout out to him. Casey Johnson, she was at the front desk passing out. Like she still know everybody. It's like nostalgia coming back over there, man.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it was a good family fun over there. Not family fun because even though the bar it was a cash bar, we still have fun. So,
good. I love hearing, Stevie, that Sark's open to obviously having all of these guys. You, Rod, Marcus Myers, Coach coming back. Being around the players. When you were on campus, did you feel the love of some of the before you, the guys that helped pave the way as well? Were they around often? And what was that like, just being able to say, hey, there's, some guys that were stars before me?
100%, man. I remember when I came on campus, Ricky Williams was already gone. We were talking about Ricky earlier, but you knew he was on campus because you saw his H1 Hummer driving around campus, man. And so, he was always around. You get to shake his hand and talk to him as a freshman coming out of high school. That guy was a giant to us back then. And then, Brackens would come back, and a bunch of people would just come back and be around the program. And that what made me. That's one of the reasons why I came to Texas, man. That everybody came back and they were around the younger players, and if you really wanted to soak something up from them, they were available for you, and they can teach you how to be a pro. So that's one of the things I really love about this university. One of the things that I'm actually telling one of our big recruits right now that I go to church with, Trey Moore, is you're trying to make a decision for the next 3-4 years of your life, but at the University of Texas it's a 40-year decision. So but he went on that LSU trip this weekend and he had a lot of fun. So
you took that trip too, right? You took that LSU trip, right? Didn't you?
Took the LSU trip, and when Booger McFarland was there, his senior. When I took a couple trips when Coach Tolley was still at LSU.
Oh, that's crazy. That's a connection. That's a crazy connection.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So but it's just good to be around my old friends. Again this weekend for the alumni weekend, and also unfortunately for the funeral, but it was just good to be around everybody again.
No, it is good that, and like I said, I don't know how you relay that to the young guys coming in, right? A 17, 18-year-old kid and I'm so proud of a 17, 18-year-old Rod B to this day that I made the right choice. Like I was looking at Florida State, and I love Florida State, Bobby Bowden. I was looking at Colorado, because Colorado was cool back then. I was looking at A&M because they had the wrecking crew. Hell, I was looking at Penn State.
Whoa,
man. Yes, and he was the defensive coordinator at the time. Yes, he was.
Yeah.
That guy. But anyway, but I don't know, for some reason, and thank God for my parents as well, they kind of kept me focused on the stuff that mattered, right?
Yeah.
And I remember Mac Brown saying, like, where do you want to live? I was like, I want to live in Texas, of course. If I make my millions in the league and I'm a Hall of Famer coach, after that's all done, I do want to live in Texas. And he's like, well, then you need to go to school in Texas.
Yeah.
So him and I remember him and R.C. Slocum both were trying to keep me in the state. They both were like, don't go to Florida State. Don't go to Colorado. Don't go to Penn State. Stay in the state because you're going to live here and you're going to want to do business here and your family here. And then it actually resonated. But what Mac did, and I didn't realize at the time, Mac was trying to build this long-term family like structure, so that even when I'm 45, that I still am connected to the family through the family. Mm-hmm. Whether it be, and he said it too. It was like we did an interview with Mac, and we had him on Third and Longhorn, and Mac was like, "It's not, you guys realize it's not a coincidence that all y'all friends, right?
Right.
That all y'all still get along." He said, "It's not always a coincidence that all y'all chose to live in Austin." He said, "We picked character types, certain personality types we were looking for. There were certain data points we were looking for, parents, that kind of stuff, and all y'all got a lot more in common than y'all realize. But y'all played at Texas. That's y'all's big, commonality. But he said, y'all got a lot of personality traits that y'all have in common. We brought all that together. And it was Mac's vision that when you're 45 and 50, that you still feel connected to the family that you initially came in at 18 years old. Like that was part of his long-term goal. And I will say it looks like it's working. And thank God for Sark, that Sark's like, no, I'm going to carry on the vision. Like it's my responsibility as a caretaker of the program to make sure that you, Letterman, and all you guys still feel like family, that we don't. And by the way, every coach ain't like that, because some 100%. Coaches, I won't name them, they have alienated the family, and that's fine. That's why you want to run your business. It's your business, but it's stronger, as we've all said, when all the BBs are in the box, baby, and we some of them BBs too.
Yeah, and I think Rod and I, you and I talked about this offline a little bit, but. These new coaches that come to these universities, they got to understand that they are here they're temporary. What we did at this university is forever, and that can never be taken away from us. And I told you that we did it in volunteer hours. We didn't get the money.
Come on.
So, so if you come in here and you piss off the alumni, then it could go real bad for you real quick. So we're just little old defensive tackle, old DBs, but when you get all of us together, we got a little bit of say so.
Yep, no doubt. I'm glad. I respect Sark a lot, man, for because he doesn't have to do that, by the way. He's going out of his way to show love. That's good. All right, thank you for showing love, Steve. I won't keep you too long. I can talk to you all night. We're gonna let you go so you can go get back to the that beautiful family of yours. Tell wifey we said what's up. Tell the kids we said hi. We'll talk to you next week, brother.
All right, man. I appreciate it. But real quick, man, everybody, some people up in my area got some hail. So holler at my boys at Hargrove. I put the shirt on today and the hat on today, so y'all know to go holler at Hargrove Roofing, man. They'll come out and get you a free estimate. They will come out and get you a free estimate. I will not. Even my friends in Houston, Fred, if you need something, give us a shout. My man Mason, I call him that guy. He's over in Houston. If you need some help, call Hargrove. We got offices in Houston, in Dallas, and all over the state, really, man. So give us a shout, man. And you can do your thing now, Rod. You do it much better than me.
No, man, that was awesome, man. That was way better than I could do it. Thank you, Stevie. Appreciate you. Love you, brother. Talk to you. All right. Yeah, he's right about Hargrove, man. They're good people. They're fine folks. And give them a call, or you can reach out to them at hargroveroofing.com. All right. All right, we got some questions. Let's get to the questions before we get out of here. Rocky Poor has a super chat. Let's dive right into that one first. Thank you, Rocky. We appreciate the super chat. Great to have you on the show today. It says, Rod, the play Kobe Black made on that screen was great to see. Oh, yeah, I love that one. He said, how surprised are you that he seems to be holding off for the DBs? Also, I'm just supporting lifetime Longhorn Boscape. Yeah, man, shout out to my boy Boscape. Bo is one of my closest friends in the world. He's in the wood. So I consider my man Bo Steves to be a brother, and he is killing it with I think it's All Pro Forms. It's the name of his marijuana. It's got marijuana forms, actually called All Pro Forms. And he's doing great. I think he's got a dispensary up there now in Colorado. So I think he's got like a bed and breakfast that he has too. So if you're up in the Colorado area and you want to do some vacationing, shout out to All Pro Forms. My man Bo Steves doing a great job. But Kobe Black. Let's talk about Kobe Black, because CJ, this is my statement on Kobe Black. I don't think there's anybody this spring that has increased their value to the team more than Kobe Black has this spring. Give me somebody you think has increased their value more to the team than Kobe Black.
No, you're probably right, because I think by the end of the regular season, it was, okay, you have Cade Phillips penciled in as your cornerback, yep. And by the time that you sat there and saw what Bo Masco did in his career, you said, okay, there you have it. They're your two starting corners. And so far, Kobe Black's put his name right in the mix saying, hey, don't forget about me, right? Do not forget about me. And this is the play in question. Look, I think this is a product of playing closer to the line of scrimmage, right? Playing that press man, easy diagnosis. And if you go back and you look at that Georgia game in particular, Texas did a great job early saying, hey, Zachariah Branch, we know your average distance of target is about 2.5 yards. They get the ball to him behind the line of scrimmage, and then things just take off because he's a great athlete. Early on, they said that's not going to happen, but it came from distance. And as the game progressed, well, your keys aren't read as quickly as typically as they were in the first quarter, right? That first possession. And then you start to see, well, now he's a decoy, and now you got guys running open, and there's miscommunication. It's not as easy as it was when you were 6 inches from a guy's face as when the play starts. So, yeah, I think that's a product of the press man, which we'll talk about with Muschamp. But for Kobe Black, look, I think last year you can't play cornerback without confidence. And I think at the end of that Florida game, when he stepped in for Malik Muhammad, who was injured, obviously Dallas Wilson had a big game in that game. And I think Kobe Black left the swamp saying, that wasn't my game. That wasn't what I wanted to put on tape. That was, a poor performance. And you start to sit there and question, okay, can I hang with the big dogs? Can I play with these guys in the SEC? And then, you didn't see him for a couple of weeks. Well, that interception against Texas A&M and a strong performance against Michigan in the bowl game, Rod, I think really helped him this spring say, okay, no. This is year 3 for me. I belong here. I'm a starter caliber guy. Muschamp's style fits me with the length, the physicality. Now I got to go earn it because these young guys, Smoke Matthews, I thought Hayward Howard even had a lot of positive moments in the 7-on-7. So, no, I think you're right. He probably has helped himself as much as anybody so far.
Yeah, because, I mean, we were talking about whether he was going to be able to break into the rotation, right? Because you had two freshmen that they had surpassed him already, Grayson Hill and Cade Phillips. Like I said, brought in Bo Masco. So I think out of all the people that responded well to the pressure of having young guys behind you that are up and coming and having bringing in veterans, proven commodities like Bo Masco to say, no, that guy's also going to be a starter. For him to be getting starting reps now, he's basically getting starting reps to corner. Now Cade Phillips was the guy rotating in. And I still think they believe they got 4 starting corners. I think they believe Cade Phillips is a starting corner, Kobe Black's starting corner, and Bo Masco and Grayson Lewis can play nickel or corner and can start at either one of them. So that's a good thing. But there's no doubt, man, he has done a great job mentally of not succumbing to the pressure of the young guys trying to take your job, which they are. And they should be. That's the kind of pressure you have in Texas. And then bringing in another guy via the transfer portal who also is taking your reps, like taking snaps from you. So he came in and competed this spring, and I think he's done a hell of a job. And there's no doubt, I'm with you. He fits what Muschamp wants to do, and that's play physical brand of football, even at the corner position. They were in press. You had at least one corner playing press, and I looked at some 60-something reps of team. They were 11 on 11. Over 50% of the time, they were playing press and man coverage. Like, I don't know if that's going to be the indicator. That's a very vanilla game plan, and maybe that's one to be vanilla. That makes sense.
Because the number that you had talked about, Robert, last year was about 27%. Like maybe it gets to 30, 33, but look, very, very simple game plan on Saturday.
Yep.
But it's encouraging, right? Because I think we're all hoping that this is what we see more of.
I agree. Yeah, they're going. If they have that kind of man rate, guys, they're going to be one of the national leaders in the country. So I don't think you'll get that because I think they'll get more exotic with some of their zone looks and disguise and all that kind of stuff. But I'm with you. Very encouraging. I think they're going to at least be a 30% man coverage team, if not a little bit higher. I think a third of your coverage will end up being man coverage. So I really like what I saw. All right, getting back to the questions here. How about this one from Mock Schnell says Cohen Brown and Jermaine both look like they are ready to move into Sark's circle of trust. Ooh, Jermaine Bishop definitely is. I mean, I think he's going to be in there. I think he's firmly going to be in the circle of trust. The only thing that will stop him is if he hits like a wall mentally and can't absorb, Sark requires you to learn all the receiver positions. And so maybe he hits a wall or something like that, either physically or mentally. I still think he can push through that. And I think Sark will push him through it because Sark will treat him like Wingo. Remember Wingo, his freshman year, he kind of hit a wall, and maybe it was because of injury or whatever. And then Sark was like, no, I'm pushing you through, dude, because you're going to be my number one after Matthew Golden leaves, Isaiah Bond leaves. So I think he'll push him through. So Cohen Brown, I'm not sure about. I'll admit, I'm not sure of Cohen Brown because you know why? Because Daly McCutcheon is going to be like, I'll be damned. He's having kind of a Kobe Black kind of spring where he's like, I'll be damned if Jermaine Bishop's going to come in and just take over my reps. And you bring it in to Cam Coleman and, Ryan Wingo's number one, and you brought in Mosley. I think he's at the I'll be damned moment. That's why he had a hell of a spring and a hell of a spring practice. So I think Daly McCutcheon will be the guy that I would bank on. And shout out to you, CJ, because you said it last year that he was, as a freshman, going to get more reps than most of those young guys. And he did. I think that continues. He's the one that I would put money on right now.
Look, it's all about what you do when you have your opportunities, right? And I think towards the back end of last year, Dalen sat there probably in that Michigan game, and Texas went to him a couple times, and the ball wasn't completed. Some catches could have been there, and he said, "Okay, I don't know if this is a great vault into the offseason when that's the last memory that you have." And then you see Khalil Lockett have the big catch, a couple big receptions against Michigan. You say, "Okay, this is the momentum that you hope to see." Well, I think leaving the spring game, the play of the day very clearly was Dalen's catch in the end zone on that comeback route. It was a great ball, but it was a very difficult catch that he came down with. Obviously, that was one that you look at and say, if you're going to play and you're going to fend off a Jermaine Bishop, if you're going to fend off a Khalil or a Cohen or any of these guys in this room, that's the play you have to make if you're Dalen McCutcheon.
Yep.
So that was a checked box. For Cohen Brown, the big thing is, okay, when you do have your opportunities and the ball's thrown to you, do you then make the play? You can get open, but you got to catch the football. And so far, early on, there were some, at least the first practice that we went to, there were some balls hitting the ground as a result of some drops from Cohen. We saw a drop on a dig route that probably would have gone for 25 or 30 yards on the catch and run. So look, to get in the circle of trust, it's all about, can you make the play? Are you in the right place at the right time? Combine the two, and you'll be there. Right now for Cohen, I need to see it a little bit more before I'm giving him my green light to eventually get Sark's green light.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. Good point. All right. Getting back to it. Cisco says, what is your projection of Boswell and where he fits on this team in a loaded linebacker room? That's a good question. Because I like Boswell as a prospect. Actually, he's a really good athlete, I think.
Yeah.
But his linebacker room is loaded, man. Like, I don't see a path for him to the field this season.
I'm with you.
Right.
If his path to the field is through special teams, and that's then how you then earn the trust and get more snaps. So, look, he's done a tremendous job adjusting and rechanging and molding his body to be that of a Division I high-end linebacker. Is he there yet in the quickness and the athleticism and the physicality? We'll have to wait and see. We don't, what we saw on Saturday, I don't think is enough to just, again, green light him to the field. But it's through special teams, because he's a guy that's going to give you maximum effort. It's a guy that has a knack for being around the football. We saw that during his time at Lake Travis. We saw that in the tape before he ended up at Akron as well. So right now, Rod, I'm with you. This room is so talented that, one, do you want him on the field over Rasheem Biles or Ty Anthony Smith? Or
no?
That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. And they like these freshman linebackers too.
They do.
They like these class of freshman linebackers. It's a really versatile group as well. So, but I do like Boswell. From my research on him, even when they acquired him, I thought it was a sound acquisition. I just don't see. I'm with CJ. Special teams. He can be a special teams demon for you, though, potentially. I mean, he really could. All right. Getting back to questions. Aggressively optimistic Texas fan. Is Texas looking for anything else potentially in the portal, or are they done for good now?
No, they're still looking. They are still looking. There was a 2026 offensive tackle on campus. I know that's not portal, but the PPI, the international recruits. He was from Dusseldorf, Germany, I believe. Musa Bajaha, maybe. I don't know how to say the name, but 6'6", 330 was on campus. He one of the more physically imposing prospects that you'll see was on campus. So look, they're still hunting in 26. They're still hunting in the portal. I mentioned the name Keon Webb out of Garden City Community College last week. He ended up signing with Louisville, but there's still guys. There's still guys. We saw that with Nick Hudson. We saw that with Darius Snow, who, again, these guys will get here in the summer, but you got room now. Yeah.
I mean, you can do it. I mean, why? I guess you leave no doubt in terms of holes in the roster. So I like what Texas is doing right now. That shows you how aggressive they're being in terms of talent acquisition overall. Before we get to some more questions, I know we're getting close to the end of the live stream. I wanted to get to this story, just to talk about it really quickly, because I do think it's going to be an important one. So there is more litigation, all right, as we know, happening in college football. But this one is going to be particularly important. Okay, so there are 18 Nebraska football players who are going to challenge the College Sports Commission over rejection of one of their third-party NIL deals. And basically, they have decided, as a group, to basically to sue the College Sports Commission. Players from Nebraska are challenging more than $1 million of third-party NIL deals rejected by the College Sports Commission, becoming the first group of athletes to significantly advance the arbitration process, basically at the college level. And in the College Sports Commission, and they are the ones who were tasked by the NCAA during the House settlement to regulate, all these NIL deals. And according to this story, they have rejected several deals and rejected these deals because of different reasons, warehousing. Some are not for a valid business purpose. That's another reason they throw out there. But apparently Jeff Kessler, who I believe is going to be arguing on behalf of the Nebraska student athletes, he is saying that the CSC, the College Sports Commission, has been violating settlement terms of the House settlement by requiring rigorous review of athlete deals with multimedia rights companies, apparel companies, and other third-party companies. He says basically his claim is that only booster deals should be required to pass the very high standard of associated entities, which is basically why they keep rejecting a lot of these third-party NIL deals. So basically what it comes down to that if, and this move could open the door for schools already using multimedia rights, which is Texas being one of them, partners to redirect millions to rosters to avoid submitting many of those deals through the NIL Gold Clearinghouse. Some people believe this is just a way of them trying to get around the salary cap, or them trying to find a back doorway to funnel NIL or revenue to student athletes without having to go through the rigorous College Sports Commission regulation process, whatever it is. Because basically they're claiming that they shouldn't be applying these very strict guidelines to these deals. And they should only apply those strict guidelines to the booster deals, not the third-party NIL deals or the multimedia rights deals. So they're apparently going to decide on it really quickly. So this thing could happen in the next couple of months, is what they're saying. And if they decide, and by the way, the players for Nebraska, if they've already signed the deals, they've got to pay back the money or they're ineligible, technically ineligible. If they've already signed the deal and taken the money. If not, then they have to reject the deal if the court sides with the College Sports Commission. If it sides with the athletes, then that's a whole nother discussion, because that means now basically there's another wild west element to the college sports landscape, because now there will be no regulation really on multimedia rights deals, on third-party deals and NIL deals. So I know it's a little complicated, but that's the gist of it.
It's, beyond this and, what, the president ended up passing. Look, all of this NIL stuff right now, is it just me, or I just don't see much changing? I just don't see the NCAA actually enforcing anything. I spoke with a buddy of mine in the agency world earlier this week, and I asked him about it. I said, yeah, I know, the big bill, the CSC stuff. And he said, it might be another paperwork for us to fill out, but we expect everything that comes to our table to pass. And what he means by that is every deal that comes to his table, from a third party, a booster, an apartment, restaurant, whatever it is. He's like, look, we're going to find ways to make sure that this does pass, because that's our job for our clients. And so, I think there's loopholes. I think there's legality, little slips that you can get past to make sure that regardless of what it is, the language will allow the clearinghouse to greenlight it. It's all about whether or not you fit the parameters. So, and at the end of the day, sue. You'll probably win, given some of the recent history that we've seen with the NCAA and some of the lawsuits in regards to NIL.
Yeah, I don't see the College Sports Commission being able to, because this is also happening at a state level too, because there's kind of a back. That's why for the Nebraska athletes, I think it's unique, because I do believe there's a state law that will allow them to take advantage of kind of a loophole here. Yeah. Even if the ruling's against them, I think there's also a state law that they can kind of backdoor this whole thing. So it's kind of convoluted, but I think there'll be more clarity on it in a couple of months. And I believe they're going to try. They're saying that the reason they reject the deals is because of warehousing. I mean, this is another random term that they're using. Not really sure what they said. Where an entity, in this case, Nebraska's multimedia rights partner, Playfly, purchases an NIL. Purchase athletes' NIL rights for future endorsement and commercial opportunities. The CSC requires that NIL-related deliverables, such as autograph signings, TV commercials, etc., be included in submitted contracts. So it's all a lot of legalese And essentially it's all about interpretation, with their interpretation of valid business purpose, your interpretation of associated entities and all this kind of stuff. And I'm with you. I think the NCAA loses like they've been losing.
Added to the tally.
Yeah, they're gonna lose this, and I don't know exactly what it will mean, but I knew they'll have less power than they've already had. So that's the latest. If you want to know about the latest litigation that the NCAA's got to deal with. All right, let's take 2 more questions, then we'll end tonight's live stream. How about this one from James? He wants to know, how did Tyler Atkinson look in the spring game, or the spring showcase, if you will?
Yeah. No, look, again, like some of these freshmen, it's going to take a little bit for that acclimation, that speed of the game to feel natural. You see the physical ability immediately. I know that there was one 3rd and short instance in which he came up and made a play in the hole like you would hope to see from a guy with his physical prowess. The next step is making sure that consistency is there, making sure his eyes are in the right direction. I think his athleticism was able to maybe alleviate some of the identification that, at the next level, at the college level, you can't get away with. He was able to do so in the high school level. So right now it's just making sure that consistently he's reading his keys. Where's the tight end? Where are the 2 backs? Is there a pulling guard? Where's the quarterback where's the quarterback's back turned to if he's under center? So, those are some of the things that we've heard. It's nothing uncommon for a young linebacker, I'm sure, especially given that he's going to be a guy that has a green dot eventually. But right now, I thought he looked fine, right on path for where he needs to be in his freshman year.
They don't have to rush him, though. That's the beauty of Tyler Atkinson. They know he's going to be good. There's no doubt. But you don't have to rush him. They don't necessarily need him. They could just put him in a situational role at times, maybe sub packages. They really like him. But I think he's going to be a stud for him. But they're right now, especially after watching Justin Cryer, they like Justin Cryer.
I like Justin Cryer.
They like Justin Cryer. So I'm gonna throw Justin Cryer in that mix too, along with Biles and Ty Anthony Smith and some of those young linebackers. So it's a position that's a little bit deeper than we anticipated, but Tyler Atkinson he's a stud. All right, back to it. Last question here. It comes from Emmanuel. He says, which do you think will be more challenging, a freshman breaking the Muschamp circle of trust or a Sark circle of trust? Oh, I don't know if a freshman's gonna start. I know you got one last year, and you got a couple last year because Cade Phillips started too, and Grayson Lowson started from day one. I don't know if you get a freshman that starts for you at any position, really. I don't know if you get a freshman starting. I know Jerry said he thought Jermaine Bishop was going to start a game. I was
going to ask you, is there a freshman right now, Rod, that you're looking at saying he has the best chance to start a game this year?
That's a good question.
Because I'm with you. I don't know if I see one starting. There's not going to be a freshman actually starting week 1.
No.
There won't be a freshman starting week 2 against Ohio State. For me, it would have to be pretty deep in the year before I'm saying, okay, even if they start the season strong, Texas is just that deep with experience across the board. I have a hard time seeing it.
I'm going to say, I guess I'm going to go Sark circle of trust because I don't see it on defense. Because I would have said smoke. Yeah. I like Smoke Matthews, but then we just talked about Kobe blackballing out, and I think they got 4 starting corners. So I think they're deep at corner. I think Jermaine Bishop is probably your best shot at a freshman cracking the circle of trust. I'm trying to think who else could do it on the defense for Texas, other than in the secondary. I don't know. That's I think how deep they are and how experienced they are. As CJ brought up, they're acquiring like 14,000 career snaps. So they don't necessarily need a freshman to break through that. But I can see Jermaine Bishop maybe being undeniable. And injuries playing a part there too. Sure. You got a guy that, one of your receivers gets nicked up. So it's like, I don't want to take a chance. We're just going to sit him out for a game. But then the Daylon McCutcheon is like, hey, he's like, hey, I'm the guy right now. So he's going to
see what I did.
Yeah, he's going to have something to say about, Jermaine Bishop just gets to start. And Sark is big on, if you've paid your dues, all right, and you've earned trust, like that means something to him. So Daylon McCutcheon might have something to say about that too. So it's tough. That's a good thing though.
Yeah,
I mean, this team
is where you want it to be.
It's exactly where you need. This freshman crop, they are good, and we know they're going to play and contribute. But I don't know if any of them will end up having a path to start because you're so talented. with your frontline guys.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%.
All right, good stuff, guys. Thank you. Appreciate the super chats and the questions. Thank you, CJ. Great stuff as always. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We appreciate Coach coming on, even though I had to pull over to the side of the road. Thank you to Stevie for coming on as well, courtesy of our good friends at Hard Grove Roofing. Thank you to Vaughn Lane. We appreciate them as well. Matter of fact, one more shout out to Vaughn Lane. We appreciate Vaughn Lane. You will as well. Check them out, folks. If you're flying those shorter routes in between major Texas cities, or you're driving yourself, there's a better way to do it. And Vaughn Lane is that better way. It is a first-class travel experience on the ground. You board in minutes at a private hotel terminal. You settle into one of just 22 oversized leather seats. You enjoy complimentary Wi-Fi, snacks, beverages, and hot towel service. You get complimentary meals on select departures as well. They've upgraded the entire fleet with Starlink internet. So now the Wi-Fi is faster and more reliable. They serve Austin, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Fort Worth, Plano, the Woodlands as well, Atlanta, Nashville, Memphis, Knoxville. And if you're traveling with a team or a group, you can charter your own Vaughn Lane coach and design the trip from pickup to drop off. And if it's your first time riding, you can enter the code OTF26 and you can get $20 off your first ride with Vaughn Lane. That's Vaughn Lane, your private jet on wheels. All right, thank you to Vaughn Lane. Thank you, CJ. Great stuff as always. If we missed any of your questions, please direct them to the gentleman at Coffee and Football bright and early tomorrow morning. Jerry Hamilton and Bobby Burnett, and that'll be at 8:15. Also, we'll have your Tuesday night live stream. That'll be at 7 p.m. CJ Vogel and Jeff Howell will be joining us. Happy birthday to Dajay Vu. I didn't know it was Dajay's birthday, so happy birthday to Dajay as well. But thank you, Matthew, behind the scenes. He's the real MVP. Nobody does it better. And happy 420 to everybody out there who celebrates. For CJ and for Matthew and for Stevie, I'm Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers. Until next time, hook 'em horns.
Hook 'em.